Okay, I've been meaning to do this vlog anyway, and DC might need it right now. So I'm going to tell a story about that first. First, girly things. I want to show Beth these. I know she's a girly girl. She loves heels. That's what I wore today. Tomorrow I'll trade them in for my ugly mowing shoes and do the bushes out front. But anyway, my mouse story. When we lived in Nebraska, we had an attached garage, and I kept bird seed out there, and I kept it in a 5-gallon bucket, and it was a hot, popular spot for the birds, especially in the winter, because I had a bird bath out there with a heater in it, so it was about the only water that they could get that wasn't frozen or wasn't snow, and then I had a bird feeder, and it was a ground bird feeder, so we had everything came, which wasn't a real smart idea. We had possums and, you know, mice and rabbits and birds and different things. But anyway, I went out there. I would go out before work when it'd be really dark and really cold, at like, 5 in the morning, maybe 5 a.m. and went out one morning and turned the light on, and I went over to the 5-gallon bucket, and it had been getting lower and lower and lower, and there was only maybe, I don't know, an inch in the bottom of bird seed. And I look in it, and there's a mouse in there, and I screamed and jumped, and the mouse screamed and jumped. And we both looked at each other. He couldn't get out. He had gotten in, so he perhaps had been feeding on it the whole time, but as the level went down, it got to a point where he couldn't get back out. He got in, but he couldn't get back out. So I let him out in the backyard. And the next morning I go out there, and there again. And there's me. And mice are cute, but for some reason, you just don't really want to run into them that way. So I let him out again, a little further away from the house. But it might have not been the same mouse. I don't know. But it could have been the same one getting right back in and doing that. So, of course, the wise person, and you're probably asking, and the people at work asked me, and they says, well, why aren't you just putting a board or something over the top of that and put a lid on it, and you'll solve your problem. Well, the problem was that we had storage out there, and we had, I would say blankets, and we had just different things. So I was concerned that there would be a nest out there. So, if there's one mouse, there could be more. And this seemed to be attracting them, and at least I was getting them out of our garage and out of our house. So, yeah, sure enough, the next morning I went out, and there was 2 mice in there going, I'm thinking, okay. Either it's the same mice coming back, or I have a real infestation. I wasn't sure which. But I decided that maybe the backyard wasn't far enough away. So crazy blonde woman, she puts a board over the 5-gallon bucket. It's like 5:30 a.m. in the morning or whatever, dark, and drive to the park, which was, I don't know, maybe half a mile away or something. Drive to the park and let them out. I went through this process until there was no more mice out in the garage. Nobody else showing up in the 5-gallon bucket that was clear down low. So the next winter we started having a mouse problem in the house. And I do not like killing animals whatsoever. And my husband doesn't either. And he happened to be leaving on a trip for a week anyway. So if we'd used a kill method, even if it had worked, I wouldn't have wanted to empty it. I just don't, well, I couldn't stand to hear him. I went through that once when we were first married, hearing a little mouse die in a mouse trap, and I couldn't stand it. So we bought one of those no-kill methods. That didn't work. Wasn't getting them in there. So I thought, well, that 5-gallon bucket worked out in the garage, caught them. So I brought a 5-gallon bucket in, and I put some sort of food. I'm not even sure that I used bird seed that time, but just something clear down at the bottom. I put it underneath my kitchen sink, which was near the problem, where the problem we were having. We thought they were under the dishwasher, which was right next to the kitchen sink. And then we put a towel from the bottom of the, shelf in the kitchen sink up to the top of the 5-gallon bucket, just barely hanging over. So the mouse could go up the towel, the old towel, drop in the bucket to get the food, and then couldn't get out. And it worked. So that's my no-kill method for catching mice. So I hope it works for you, DC. Bye.